Thank you.
The Senate will come to order. The senators will take their seats. Those persons not entitled to the privileges of the floor will retire to the gallery. Good morning, senators. Good morning, guests. The senators and those in attendance, if you are able, please rise. We will be led in prayer this morning by the Reverend Charles Phillips of Rosewood Presbyterian Church in Prince George. Following the prayer, please remain standing, and we will be led in the Pledge of Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America by Senate Page Tavesha Patel of Chester.
Let us pray. Father in heaven, not sure that we can all agree about who you are or even what to call you, but here we are honoring the historic tradition to acknowledge and honor you, just as the founders did in Philadelphia when writing the Constitution. We also want to acknowledge the obvious, that all of us need power and wisdom higher than any of us possess to do this job. We need your presence. We need your guidance. We also acknowledge that no one here is perfect, but we have been sent here by you and the people to do some good. We are asking you, our Creator, to help us work out our disagreements to your satisfaction and according to your will. We also ask you to help us remember that you love each of us, even when we are arrogant and even when we are wrong. So, Almighty and eternal God, as this session begins today, I ask your powerful presence to guide these powerful people to discover your will for your people here in Virginia. Guide them not to take themselves too seriously, but to be serious about doing good for you and the people. Remind them that all of us to love one another as you have loved each one of us. Guide this group to carry your spirit of grace and humility toward each other, so that the divisions, hurts, and hate in our state and nation can be healed. Give them the grace to be servants to each other and to the people who sent them here to serve. And Lord, by the end of this day and every day, use each one of us to do good. We can't do this important job without your help and your Spirit, so we ask, help us. In Jesus' name, I ask this request and prayer. Amen.
I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
The clerk will call the roll. All those present, please vote aye.
Clerk will close the roll.
You have a quorum, Madam President. Senate Journal for Thursday, February 22nd, 2024.
The senator from Washington, Senator Pillion, moves that the reading of the journal be waived. All those in favor of waiving the reading of the journal will record their votes aye. Those opposed, no. Are the senators ready to vote? Have all the senators voted? Does any senator desire to change their vote? The clerk will close the roll.
Ayes 37, noes 3.
Ayes 37, noes 3. The reading of the journal is waived. The clerk will report any communications from the House of Delegates. Chair recognizes the senator from Eastern Fairfax County, Senator Sorrell.
Happy Friday, Madam President.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
I would move to waive reading of the House communication.
The question is, shall the reading of the communication from the House be waived? Those in favor of that motion will record their votes aye. Those opposed, no. Are the senators ready to vote? Have all the senators voted? Does any senator desire to change their vote? The clerk will close the roll.
Ayes 39, noes 1.
Ayes 39, noes 1. The reading of the communication from the House of Delegates is waived. The clerk will report any communications from the governor.
I do not have any, Madam President.
We have now arrived at the time in our morning hour when we will discover who all of our beautiful guests are. And the normal procedure is your senator will rise and speak about you. And if you will rise at that time, then hold your applause until after I officially welcome you, and then we will applaud all of you together. And so with that, I do now call on Senator Aird, the senator from Petersburg.
Thank you, Madam President. I rise for an introduction.
The senator has the floor.
Thank you, Madam President. Offering today's prayer is Reverend Charles Phillips, and I'd ask that he stand, who has long been a respected spiritual leader in the greater Richmond area. In 2003, Reverend Phillips relocated to Virginia to pastor Overlook Presbyterian Church in Henrico County, where he touched countless lives in the community by working with the congregation to establish a day school for troubled youth and an after-school program that provided free child care to local families. As pastor of Overlook Presbyterian Church, Reverend Phillips ably managed the Cosby Endowment Fund, which has provided hundreds of thousands of dollars in scholarships, medical support, and outreach to support at-risk youth and single-parent families. Reverend Phillips has been active in civic service organizations throughout Henrico and Richmond. His commitment to service has extended past his immediate community, as he has also led several church mission trips to locations in the United States and throughout the world. Reverend Phillips currently serves as the pastor of Rosewood Presbyterian Church in Prince George County. And as a fourth-generation minister, Reverend Phillips has carried on a proud family tradition of spiritual leadership, with his son following in his footsteps as an ordained minister. Further, his daughter, Abby Phillips, who joins him in the gallery and is executive director of the Legal Aid Justice Center, is someone we have all come to know well. I could say so much more, but will close by saying it is an honor to have Reverend Phillips as our guest today, and I hope that you will join me in welcoming him to his Senate.
Please rise. Please rise, Pastor. Yes, we want to officially recognize you, and thank you for coming. Thank you for your prayer. Thank you for all the sacrifices that we know that you've certainly made throughout your life in helping others and fulfilling God's will. Senators, let us give him the warm welcome of his Senate. Chair recognizes Senator Subramaniam, the senior senator from Loudoun.
Thank you, Madam President. I rise for an introduction.
The senator may continue.
Thank you, Madam President. Today in the gallery in the Capitol, we hosted a few leaders from Northern Virginia business community, and if they would like to rise, including Tony Onyanwa, who has been part of a lot of great projects in this Commonwealth, including helping power the building of the Dulles Airport East Wing and the Telegraph Road project, which was very important in our community. He's a part of the African Business Roundtable, the African Business Owners Forum, Inc., and Support for Improvement in Government and Management, where he's been a real real leader and a mentor to a lot of business owners in our Northern Virginia community. So I'm so happy he's here, and I hope we give him a warm Senate welcome.
Good morning, Mr. Anianwa. Did I get that right? Thank you so very much for coming, and really thank you for all that you're doing. But I heard you're a mentor to so many, and that is exactly what we need. Show me how to do it. Don't let me have to experience it the hard way. Certainly, we don't want to have to reinvent the wheel. And if there's a better way, a quicker way, and certainly we need that help. Thank you. You're one of those who help to provide mentorships and apprenticeships and internships. As I like to say, everybody needs some kind of ship to launch them. Thank you. Senators, let us give him the warm welcome of his Senate. Chair recognizes Senator Mulcahy, the senator from Mecklenburg.
Thank you, Madam President. I rise for an introduction.
The senator has the floor.
Thank you, Madam President. Today we have in the gallery pastors of Faith, Virginia, if they would rise. Wow. We thank you for visiting our capital today, and we thank you for being here, and we hope that you've enjoyed your day. And we just welcome you here, and we hope that everyone will give them a welcome. Do I understand that someone very important to you might be in that group?
Yes, my better half.
Your better half. The better half of the leader of the Senate here is in this group. And I just finished a book about the Lieutenant Governor, where he's mentioned quite frequently, and is a very fine man. And I'm honored to have read about him and to see how a support he's been for our Lieutenant Governor. So we welcome him as well. Terry, is that correct?
Yes.
So thank you for being here, and we'll let the Lieutenant Governor finish this fine introduction.
Thank you all so very much for coming, for praying for us, for visiting your capital. This is your capital. For being involved in your community in so many different ways. We know that you're part of so many, congregations from Richmond to Portsmouth to Lynchburg to Loudoun to Winchester. I mean, you're all over. So I better stop now because I'm going to forget. Prince William, everywhere. So you are all so very dedicated. Thank you. And husband, please give them the warm welcome of their Senate. Is there any other business to come before the Senate? Hearing none, the clerk will call the calendar.
Senate calendar for Friday, February 23rd, 2024. Unfinished business House. House Bill 355. The House has rejected the Senate substitute.
Chair recognizes Senator Hashmi, the senator from Chesterfield.
Thank you, Madam President. I move that we reject the. I insist. And what is it?
Insist and request.
I move that we insist and request a committee on conference.
The question is, would the senator like to explain?
No, we don't.
Senators, okay. Question is, shall the Senate insist on its substitute and respectfully request a committee of conference on the bill? All those in favor of that motion will record their votes aye. Those opposed, no. Are the senators ready to vote? Have all the senators voted? Does any senator desire to change their votes? The clerk will close the roll.
Ayes 39, no 0.
Ayes 39, no 0. The Senate insists on its substitute and requests a committee of conference.
House Bill 509. The House has rejected the Senate substitute.
Chair again recognizes Senator Hashmi.
Thank you, Madam President. I move that the Senate insist on its substitute and request that we agree to a committee of conference.
The question is, shall the Senate insist on its substitute and request a committee of conference on the bill? Those in favor of that motion will record their votes aye. Those opposed, no. Are the senators ready to vote? Have all the senators voted? Does any senator desire to change their vote? The clerk will close the roll.
Ayes 39, no 0.
Ayes 39, no 0. The Senate insists and requests a committee of conference.
House Bill 1504. The House has rejected the Senate substitute.
Again, Senator Hashmi, the senator from Chesterfield.
Thank you, Madam President. I move that the Senate insist on its substitute and request a committee of conference.
The question is, shall the Senate insist on its substitute and request a committee of conference on the bill? Those in favor of that motion will record their votes aye. Those opposed, no. Are the senators ready to vote? Have all the senators voted? Does any senator desire to change their vote? The clerk will close the roll.
Ayes 38, no 0.
Ayes 38, no 0. The Senate insists and requests a committee of conference.
Unfinished business, Senate. Senate Bill 8 has passed the House with amendments.
Chair recognizes Senator Reeves, the senator from Orange.
Thank you, Madam President. Can I go by just briefly?
Without objection, Senate Bill 8 goes by temporarily.
Senate Bill 15 has passed the House with a substitute.
Chair recognizes Senator Favola, the senator from Arlington.
Thank you, Madam President. Madam President, with the recommendation that the Senate reject the House substitute, I move the House substitute. And speaking to that motion?
The senator has the floor.
Okay. What the House did, they neglected to add general district court when we're talking about extradition for certain crimes. But more importantly, they added a whole section in the consumer protection portion of our code. So I need to figure out what exactly they were trying to achieve with that addition, and this bill needs to go into conference. Our underlying Senate bill was much cleaner and much more direct. Again, I renew my motion that, again, we, with the recommendation that we reject the substitute, I move the substitute.
The question is, with the recommendation that the House substitute on Senate Bill 15 be rejected, shall the Senate concur? Those in favor of that motion will record their votes aye. Those opposed.
Madam President. Surville. Can that bill go by temporarily?
Without objection, Senate Bill 15 goes by temporarily.
Senate Bill 16 has passed the House with an amendment.
Again, Senator Favola.
Thank you, Madam President. Madam President, I move that we concur with the amendment. As the body may remember, this was a bill that actually protected menstrual health data from law enforcement. And the bill we passed in the Senate actually went beyond just data kept on apps, but menstrual health data on any form. What the amendment does is it merely adds for clarifying the words for purposes of or the purpose of. It is a very acceptable amendment, and I hope we concur with the amendment.
The question is, shall the Senate concur with the House amendments on Senate Bill 16? Those in favor of that motion will record their votes aye. Those opposed, no. Are the senators ready to vote? Have all the senators voted? Does any senator desire to change their vote? The clerk will close the roll.
Ayes 22, no 17.
Ayes 22, no 17. The Senate concurs.
Senate Bill 23 has passed the House with a substitute.
Chair recognizes Senator Locke, the senator from Hampton.
Thank you, Madam President. Madam President, I move that we concur with the House substitute, and speaking to that.
The senator has the floor.
Thank you, Madam President. What the House did here was to make a couple of technical language changes, and they were minor edits. And this bill deals with the adjudication and specifies what a delinquent child is. And with those technical changes, they were minor. I move that we again concur with the House substitute.
The question is, shall the Senate concur with the House substitute on Senate Bill 23? Those in favor of that motion will record their votes aye. Those opposed, no. Are the senators ready to vote? Have all the senators voted? Does any senator desire to change their vote? The clerk will close the roll.
Ayes 21, noes 18.
Ayes 21, noes 18. The Senate concurs.
Senate Bill 99 has passed the House with a substitute.
Senator Eben, the senator from Alexandria.
Thank you, Madam President. I move we concur with the House substitute in speaking to that motion.
Senator has the floor.
This is the bill relating to carrying assault firearms in public areas. It makes the House substitute makes an exception for a member of a cadet corps who's performing sanctioned military training, or such a member participating in an official ceremonial event for the Commonwealth. And renew my motion that we concur.
The question is, shall the Senate concur with the House substitute? Those in favor of that motion will record their votes aye. Those opposed, no. Are the senators ready to vote? Have all the senators voted? Does any senator desire to change their vote? The clerk will close the roll.
Ayes 21, noes 18.
Ayes 21, noes 18. The Senate concurs.
Senate Bill 109 has passed the House with a substitute.
Senator Suderline, the senator from Roanoke.
Thank you, Madam President. I move that the Senate accept the House substitute in speaking to that motion.
The senator has the floor.
Thank you, Madam President. If you look at, this is the bill about candidates that file for their party's primary and then end up not winning that nomination, but instead withdrawing and then trying to either run as the other party's nominee or as an independent. There's a if you read both bills, their versions are pretty similar, but the substantive difference is this version we passed in the Senate would have said once you filed once your name appeared on the ballot, which would mean about 46 days before the primary, and then you withdrew, then you would not be able to run as an independent or as another party's nominee. The House's position says that if you withdraw after properly filing, which would mean as soon as you properly filed, which would be as early as like the third week of March. So it's a time difference. I find that acceptable, but I put that before you. And if you like the later, you should vote no and reject this substitute. If you feel otherwise, you can accept it. So the difference is if it's late April or March. It's only about a 4-week difference. Thank you. I concur.
Senator, I'm really not even sure now what the motion is. Is it to concur? Yes, thank you. The question is, shall the Senate concur with the House? Chair recognizes the junior senator from Enrico, Senator Van Valkenburg.
Thank you, Madam President. Will the patron rise for a question?
Will Senator Suderline rise and yield for a question?
Yes, Madam President.
Senator Suderline yields. Senator Van Valkenburg has the floor.
Thank you, Madam President. Madam President, I would ask the senator, there might be a philosophical difference between the version the Senate passed and the one that the House passed, because the one that the Senate passed says, once your name is on that ballot, you're in, right? The name appears on the ballot, no taking back. The House version is saying, well, once you file the paperwork, so you still have 2 months, 3 months, 2 months at that point where you would not have your name on a ballot, but might decide that you had made a mistake and you still want to run. And so I think the Senate's version is maybe a little bit more objective in saying that, all right, people can start voting, now you can't take it back, versus the House is saying, well, once you just put in, I just would ask would you agree that that's a philosophical difference? That's since I asked a question.
Senator Suderline has the floor.
Thank you, Madam President. I would tell the senator that, no, actually the House has a more objective standard, because ours is when your name appears on the ballot. And so I had questions, well, does that mean on as soon as they're printed or as soon as they've gone out? Whereas the House position is as soon as you have actually qualified for the ballot because you filed. So that would be when you turned in for someone like us, our 250 signatures, or in the House, 125 signatures. And you're not able to do that until March. So it would be a very clear deadline. But basically, once you've turned in all your paperwork with your petitions and everything else, you can't withdraw. Or, well, you can't withdraw and then still run as another party or independent.
So,
Senator Van Valkenburg.
Will the patron yield
Further question?
Will the patron yield for one more question?
Senator Suderline, will you yield?
Yes, Madam President.
Senator Suderline yields. Senator Van Valkenburg has the floor.
Yeah, Madam President, Senator, so under the House version that we're currently going to vote on, let's say there's a scenario where you're a more moderate candidate and you see, whether it's left or right, you see a primary that's going the wrong way, and but you think that there might be a kind of more solid middle where if you ran as an independent, you would pick up, let's say, the majority of your center-right friends and some Democrats, or you might pick up the majority of your center-left friends and some Republicans, and you might actually represent a majority position in your district. But under the House version, you would no longer be able to do that, and we might be stuck with a more fringe candidate. Would you say that that's correct?
Senator Suderline.
Madam President, I would not agree with that assessment. I would say the question before us is, if you want to have the deadline 45 days before, you should vote no and reject the House. If you like the House's version that says the deadline, once you've made your decision, you're locked in about late March, then you should vote yes. I'm comfortable with the March deadline. I think it's clearer, but it's up to you all to make your own decision.
Madam President, speaking to the bill.
Senator Van Valkenburg may continue.
Thank you, Madam President. Madam President, I would ask the members of this body to reject the House amendment, because I think the scenario I just laid out is one that would be prevented under the House bill. And I think people should have that choice to be able to make that. I mean, I think once your name's on the ballot and people are voting, we're talking about a different thing. You're all in at that point. But if we see a world in which we think it might be a better political option for the people of that district to have that kind of broad spectrum, I think that's an important outlet. And so I would ask you to stay with the Senate version and not vote for the House version. Thank you, Madam President.
The question is, shall the Senate concur with the House substitute? Those in favor of that motion will record their votes aye. Those opposed, no. Are the senators ready to vote? Have all the senators voted? Does any senator desire to change their vote? The clerk will close the roll.
Ayes 19, noes 20.
Ayes 19, noes 20. The Senate does not concur.
Senate Bill 209 has passed the House with amendments.
Chair recognizes Senator Perry, the junior senator from Loudoun.
Thank you, Madam President. I move that the Senate concur with the House amendments and speaking to that motion.
Senator has the floor.
This is a simple amendment to the bill that passed the Senate. It just changes the enactment clause from 2023 to 2024.
The question is, shall the Senate concur with the House amendments? Those in favor of that motion will record their votes aye. Those opposed, no. Are the senators ready to vote? Have all the senators voted? Does any senator desire to change their vote? The clerk will close the roll.
Ayes 39, no 0.
Ayes 39, no 0. The Senate concurs.
Senate Bill 210 has passed the House with a substitute.
Again, Senator Perry, the junior senator from Loudoun.
Madam President, I move the Senate concur with the House amendments and speaking to that motion.
The senator has the floor.
Okay, so the amendment here, this bill is the same substance as what passed the Senate here. The difference is we took that code section and added it over to the trigger activator section. That was at the request of several of the Commonwealth's attorneys, so that if you have a gun that has suddenly become a machine gun, they don't have to determine on scene whether it is a bump stock or an auto sear. They can just charge the person with one statute and cover it whichever way, figure it out as they go. So I would ask the members to pass the bill.
The question is, shall the Senate concur with the House substitute? Those in favor of that motion will record their votes aye. Those opposed, no. Are the senators ready to vote? Have all the senators voted? Does any senator desire to change their vote? The clerk will close the roll.
Ayes 28, noes 11.
Ayes 28, noes 11. The Senate concurs.
Senate Bill 211 has passed the House with a substitute.
The Senate will temporarily be at ease. Senator Perry, the junior senator from Loudoun.
Yes, Madam President. I move that the Senate concur with the House and speaking to that motion.
Senator has the floor.
Okay. This bill is incredibly similar to what we passed here in the body. We just adopted the language. This is a bill that expands the venue for violation of protective order to include the residence where the individual who was the subject of the violation, the victim of the violation of protective order, resided at the time. So it's just a mirroring of the language from the House.
The question is, shall the Senate concur with the House substitute? Those in favor of that motion will record their votes aye. Those opposed, no. Are the senators ready to vote? Have all the senators voted? Does any senator desire to change their vote? Clerk will close the roll.
Ayes 39, no 0.
Ayes 39, no 0. The Senate concurs.
Senate Bill 327 has passed the House with a substitute.
Chair recognizes Senator Salim, the senator from Central Fairfax County.
Thank you, Madam President. With the recommendation that the House substitute be rejected, I move that the substitute be agreed to and speaking to that motion.
The senator has the floor.
Thank you, Madam President. SB 327 is identical to HB 1174, where the age to purchase a firearm is raised to 21. However, in the Senate version, it would require someone to be 21 of age or older to purchase a handgun or assault firearms. The substitute House version is only assault firearms. I reiterate my motion with the recommendation that the House substitute be rejected. I move that substitute be agreed to.
With the recommendation that it be rejected, the question is, shall the House substitute be agreed to? Those in favor of that motion will record their votes aye. Those opposed, no. Are the senators ready to vote? Have all the senators voted? Does any senator desire to change their vote? The clerk will close the roll.
Ayes 0, noes 39.
Ayes 0, noes 39. The substitute is rejected.
Senate Bill 343 has passed the House with amendment.
Chair recognizes the junior senator from Virginia Beach, Senator Rouse.
Thank you, Madam President. I move that the Senate concur with the House amendment and speaking to that motion.
Senator may continue.
Thank you, Madam President. The House amendment is just a technical amendment at the end of line 25 and basically just helps this bill by specifically by giving localities the flexibility to attract businesses and services to military-centered communities, and renew my motion that the Senate concur with the House amendment.
The question is, shall the Senate concur with the House amendment? Those in favor of that motion will record their votes aye. Those opposed, no. Are the senators ready to vote? Have all the senators voted? Does any senator desire to change their vote? The clerk will close the roll.
Ayes 39, no 0.
Ayes 39, no 0. Senate concurs.
Senate Bill 357 has passed the House with a substitute.
Senator Boysko, the senator from Northern Fairfax County.
Thank you, Madam President. With the recommendation that we reject the Senate substitute, I move the Senate substitute.
And speaking
and speaking to the bill.
The senator has the floor.
This is the bill that provides protection for people with autism, mental health issues when they are interacting with the police. Our version that we passed through the Senate has the support of the Commonwealth's attorneys, and we worked to really make sure that it was strong. This language does not contain that information. It also does not include the language around if an individual does not prove by a preponderance of the evidence at the time of the assault that the battery of his behaviors were as a result of the mental illness and intellectual disability, but the evidence establishes that his mental illness, intellectual disability, or developmental disability otherwise contributes to his behaviors, the finder may find the accused guilty of a misdemeanor pursuant to Section A. We are still working with the House patron to perfect this, and I'd like to get it into conference, and I move that we reject the the House amendment.
The question is, with the recommendation that the House substitute be rejected, shall it be agreed to? Those in favor of that motion will record their votes aye. Those opposed, no. Are the senators ready to vote? Have all the senators voted? Does anyone want to change their vote? The clerk will close the roll.
Ayes 0, noes 39.
Ayes 0, nays 39. The House substitute is rejected.
Senate Bill 413 has passed the House with amendment.
Senator Head, the senator from Botetourt.
Thank you, Madam President. I move that the Senate concur with the House amendment and speaking to that motion.
Senator may continue.
Thank you, Madam President. The House amendment is technical and removes language that would conflict with the uniform notice language that was inserted earlier in Section 15.2-5156. The uniform notice language allows for notice to be given no less than 7 days. However, the previous iteration of the bill said that the hearing couldn't be any sooner than 10 days, and so the technical amendment removes the conflicting language that the hearing cannot be any sooner than 10 days. And so I would again renew my motion that we concur with the House position.
The question is, shall the Senate concur with the House amendment? Those in favor will record their votes aye. Those opposed, no. Are the senators ready to vote? Have all the senators voted? Does any senator desire to change their vote? The clerk will close the roll.
Ayes 38, no 0.
Ayes 38, no 0. Senate concurs.
Senate Bill 437 has passed the House with a substitute.
Chair recognizes Senator Sudaline, the senator from Roanoke.
Madam President, I move that we adopt the House substitute. Speaking that motion.
The senator may continue.
Thank you, Madam President. This is our legislation clarifying the rules between main and branch offices for real estate brokers, and there's just a technical amendment with no policy difference. So I hope that we'll pass the House substitute.
The question is, shall the Senate concur with the House substitute? Those in favor of the motion will record their votes aye. Those opposed, no. Are the senators ready to vote? Have all the senators voted? Does any senator desire to change their vote? The clerk will close the roll.
Ayes 39, no 0.
Ayes 39, no 0. The Senate concurs.
Madam President, to the left.
For what purpose does the senator from Prince William rise?
Madam President, having voted on the prevailing side by which we concurred with the House amendment for SB 413, I motion to reconsider that vote so a member may cast their vote.
Question is, shall the vote by which the Senate concurred with Senate Bill 413 agree to be reconsidered? Those in favor of the motion will record their votes aye. Those opposed, no. Are the senators ready to vote? All the senators voted. Does any senator desire to change their vote? The clerk will close the roll.
Ayes 39, no 0.
Ayes 39, no 0. The vote is reconsidered. Senator Head, senator from Botetourt.
Thank you, Madam President. Having previously explained the contents of the House amendment, I move that we concur with the House amendment.
Question again. Shall the Senate concur with the House amendment? Those in favor of the motion will record their votes aye. Those opposed, no. Are the senators ready to vote? All the senators voted. Does any senator desire to change their vote? The clerk will close the roll.
Ayes 39, no 0.
Ayes 39, no 0. The Senate concurs.
Senate Bill 497 has passed the House with a substitute.
Chair recognizes Senator Carol Foy, the senator from Eastern. Chair recognizes Senator Ayer, the senator from Petersburg.
I think she's coming, Madam Chair.
No, the senator. Chair now recognizes again Senator Carol Foy, the senator from Eastern Prince William.
Thank you, Madam President. I ask that we concur with the House substitute.
And speaking to that?
Yes.
Senator may continue.
Yes, it's a technical change that we just pretty much combined two sentences, nothing of substance, and I ask that we concur.
The question is, shall the Senate concur with the House substitute? Those in favor of the motion will record their votes aye. Those opposed, no. Are the senators ready to vote? All the senators voted. Does any senator desire to change their vote? The clerk will close the roll.
Ayes 39, no 0.
Ayes 39, no 0. The Senate concurs.
Senate Bill 595 has passed the House with amendment.
Senator Bagby, the senior senator from Enrico.
Thank you, Madam President. Madam President, I move that the Senate concur to the House amendment and speaking to that motion.
Senator has the floor.
Thank you, Madam President. The amendment made by the House addresses the three need areas that form a gap in broadband connectivity, access, affordability, and adoption. And I renew my motion.
The question is, shall the Senate concur with the House amendment? Those in favor of that motion will record their votes aye. Those opposed, no. Are the senators ready to vote? All the senators voted. Does any senator desire to change their vote? The clerk will close the roll.
Ayes 25, noes 13.
Ayes 25, noes 13. The Senate concurs.
Senate Bill 605 has passed the House with a substitute.
Chair recognizes Senator Subramaniam, the senior senator from Loudoun.
Thank you, Madam President. Madam President, I move that we concur with the House substitute and speaking to that motion.
The senator has the floor.
Thank you, Madam President. This is just a technical change to make the cross references more precise. So I ask that we concur with the House substitute.
Question is, shall the Senate concur with the House substitute? Those in favor will record their votes aye. Those opposed, no. Are the senators ready to vote? All the senators voted. Does any senator desire to change their vote? The clerk will close the roll.
Ayes 39, no 0.
Ayes 39, no 0. The Senate concurs.
Senate Bill 642 has passed the House with a substitute.
Senator Perry, the junior senator from Loudoun.
Madam President, I move that the Senate concur with the House substitute speaking to that motion.
Senator has the floor.
So the substitute is similar to the bill that passed the Senate. The only change is that in the portion of the code that takes away firearms from those convicted of domestic violence offenses, we add back in the definition of cohabitating partners who commit domestic violence, convicted of committing domestic violence on one another, to take away their firearms for 3 years.
The question is, shall the Senate concur with the House substitute? Those in favor will record their votes aye. Those opposed, no. Are the senators ready to vote? All the senators voted. Does any senator desire to change their vote? The clerk will close the roll.
Ayes 21, noes 17.
Ayes 21, no 17. Senate concurs.
Senate Bill 646 has passed the House with a substitute.
Chair recognizes Senator French, the senator from Shenandoah. Your mic, Senator. Your mic, Senator. Push the button.
I thought I had it on. All right, here we go. Thank you, Madam President. I move that the Senate concur with the House substitute in speaking to that motion.
Senator has the floor.
The House or Senate Bill 646 is a victim relief fund, and it allows minors to come forward after they're adults, and it was limited to 10 years, and now the wordage is passage of time shall not be the barrier when a victim can file for a claim, and there's no physical impact. Madam President, I move that the Senate confer with the House substitute.
Yes, sir. Chair recognizes Senator Surville, the senator from Eastern Fairfax County.
Thank you, Madam President. Will the Senator yield for a question?
Will Senator French yield for a question?
Yes, Madam President.
Senator Somerville has the floor.
Thank you, Madam President. Madam President, I asked the gentleman, this bill came through the Finance Committee, came to the General Government Subcommittee, which I chair, and I know we looked at it for fiscal impact. And I know we recognized with a 10-year limit, there was no impact. Who decided that by making it an unlimited period of time, that it has no impact? You just decided that. I'm clear. I want to just understand whether the Senate Finance Committee told you that, or whether that's a House position.
Senator French has the floor.
So I think I'm answering this, Madam President and Senator Sturville. I think I'm answering this question properly. The funds for this is from a victim relief fund. And it's my understanding that it all came from there and there was no physical impact because it was already set aside.
Madam President?
Senator Somerville.
I would just ask this bill go by for the day so we could examine the fiscal impact briefly before we vote on it.
Without objection, Senate Bill 646 goes by for the day.
Senate Bill 719 has passed the House with amendment.
Senator Bagby, the senior senator from Enrico.
Thank you, Madam President. Madam President, I move that the Senate concur with the House amendment. And
The senator has the floor.
Thank you, Madam President. This amendment made by the House clarifies when an incarcerated person can be placed in additional period of solitary confinement due to behavior misconduct. I renew my motion.
The question is, shall the Senate concur with the House amendment? Those in favor of that motion will record their votes aye. Those opposed, no. Are the senators ready to vote? Have all the senators voted? Does any senator desire to change their vote? The clerk will close the roll.
Ayes 21, noes 17.
Ayes 21, noes 17. The Senate concurs.
Senate Bill 736 has passed the House with a substitute.
Chair recognizes Senator McDougall, the senator from Hanover.
Thank you, Madam President. Madam President, I move that the Senate agree to the House substitute and speak into the motion.
The senator has the floor.
Madam President, we ended up doing the Senate bill the way we finally did the House bills that came through the committee. This was the bill that had lots of discussion between the clerks of court and the Supreme Court, and this was the compromise to take out one of the provisions that the clerks wanted.
The question is, shall the Senate concur with the House substitute? Those in favor of that motion will record their votes aye. Those opposed, no. Are the senators ready to vote? Have all the senators voted? Does any senator desire to change their vote? The clerk will close the roll.
Ayes 39, noes 0.
Ayes 39, no 0. The Senate concurs.
We are awaiting House action on the bills in that section. Going back to page 2, Senate Bill 8 has passed the House with amendments.
Again, Senator Hashmi, the senator from Chesterfield. Senator Reeves?
Madam President.
Wrong senator. Senator Reeves, the senator from Orange.
My apologies for earlier, Madam President. Price of military service. Madam President, SB 8, I asked that we concur with the House amendments and speaking to that.
Senator may continue.
Madam President, you can look on the docket for today. They cleaned up the language grammatically for it. It didn't change the bill all that much, changing and and or. So I would ask that we concur.
The question is, shall the Senate concur with the House amendments? Those in favor will record their votes aye. Those opposed, no. Are the senators ready to vote? Have all the senators voted? Does any senator desire to change their vote? The clerk will close the roll.
Ayes 38, noes 1.
Ayes 38, noes 1. The Senate concurs.
On page 3, Senate Bill 15 has passed the House with a substitute.
Chair recognizes Senator Favola, the senator from Arlington.
Thank you, Madam President. Madam President, I ask that that bill go by for the day.
Without objection, Senate Bill 15 goes by for the day.
Uncontested calendar, House bills on third reading.
Senator Surreville, the senator from Eastern Fairfax County.
Thank you, Madam President. I move that all the House bills on the third reading on the uncontested calendar on pages 11 through 22, House Bills 69 through 1508, be advanced to their final passage in the block. After the adoption of any amendments thereto, any senator desiring to remove a bill from the block shall do so after the clerk has stated the number of the bill.
The question is, shall House bills on the uncontested calendar, third reading, pages 11 through 22, House Bill 69 through House Bill 1508, be placed upon their final passage in the block after any amendments thereto, with the understanding that any senator desiring a bill to be removed from the block will do so after the clerk has read the number of the bills? Those in favor of that motion will say aye. Those opposed, no. The ayes have it. The motion is agreed to. The bills are before us in the block. The clerk will now read the number of the bills.
House Bill 69, reported from the Committee on Privileges and Elections. House Bill 85, reported from the Committee on Agriculture, Conservation, and Natural Resources. House Bill 225, reported from the Committee on Finance and Appropriations. House Bill 237, reported from the Committee on Finance and Appropriations with a substitute.
Senator Lucas, the senator from Portsmouth.
Thank you, Madam President. Madam President, I move that the committee substitute be agreed to.
The question is, shall the substitute be agreed to? Those in favor will say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, no. The substitute is agreed to.
House Bill 288, reported from the Committee on Agriculture, Conservation, and Natural Resources. House Bill 320, reported from the Committee on Agriculture, Conservation, and Natural Resources. House Bill 356, reported from the Committee on Finance and Appropriations. House Bill 441, reported from the Committee on Privileges and Elections. House Bill 462, reported from the Committee on Education and Health with the substitute, and from the Committee on Finance and Appropriations.
Senator Hashmi, the senator from Chesterfield.
I move the committee substitute.
The question is, shall the substitute be agreed to? Those in favor will say aye. Those opposed, no. The substitute is agreed to.
House Bill 468, reported from the Committee on Finance and Appropriations. House Bill 619, reported from the Committee on Finance and Appropriations. House Bill 712, reported from the Committee on Finance and Appropriations with a substitute.
Senator Lucas, the senator from Portsmouth.
Thank you, Madam President. Madam President, I move that the committee substitute be agreed to.
The question is, shall the substitute be agreed to? Those in favor will say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, no. The substitute is agreed to.
House Bill 715, reported from the Committee on Finance and Appropriations with a substitute.
Again, Senator Lucas.
Thank you, Madam President. Madam President, I move that the committee substitute be agreed to.
The question is, shall the substitute be agreed to? Those in favor will say aye. Those opposed, no. The substitute is agreed to.
House Bill 730, reported from the Committee on Privileges and Elections. House Bill 759, reported from the Committee on Agriculture, Conservation, and Natural Resources. House Bill 804, reported from the Committee on Agriculture, Conservation, and Natural Resources. House Bill 840, reported from the Committee on Finance and Appropriations. House Bill 935, reported from the Committee on Finance and Appropriations with amendment.
Senator Boysko. Wait, 935, I'm sorry. Senator Deeds, the senator from Charlottesville. Lucas. Senator Lucas. We'll get it together today. Senator from Portsmouth.
Thank you, Madam President. Madam President, I move that the committee substitute be agreed to. The committee amendment be agreed to.
The question is, shall the committee amendments be agreed to? Those in favor will say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, no. The committee amendments are agreed to.
House Bill 943, reported from the Committee on Privileges and Elections. House Bill 944, reported from the Committee on Finance and Appropriations. House Bill 991, reported from the Committee on General Laws and Technology with amendment, and from the Committee on Finance and Appropriations.
Senator Eben, the senator from Alexandria.
I move the committee amendment.
Question is, shall the committee amendments be agreed to? Those in favor will say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, no. Committee amendments are agreed to.
House Bill 1003, reported from the Committee on Privileges and Elections. House Bill 1015, reported from the Committee on Finance and Appropriations. House Bill 1085, reported from the Committee on Finance and Appropriations. House Bill 1346, reported from the Committee on Privileges and Elections. House Bill 1377, reported from the Committee on Agriculture, Conservation, and Natural Resources. House Bill 1379, reported from the Committee on Agriculture, Conservation, and Natural Resources. House Bill 1502, reported from the Committee on Finance and Appropriations with amendments.
Senator Lucas, the senator from Portsmouth.
Thank you, Madam President. Madam President, I move that the committee amendments be agreed to.
The question is, shall the committee amendments be agreed to? Those in favor will say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, no. The committee amendments are agreed to.
House Bill 1508, reported from the Committee on Finance and Appropriations with amendment.
Again, Senator Lucas.
Madam President, I move that the committee amendments be agreed to.
Question is, shall the committee amendments be agreed to? Those in favor will say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, no. The committee amendments are agreed to. The question is, shall the House bills in the block pass? All in favor of the motion will record their votes aye. Those opposed, no. Are the senators ready to vote? Have all the senators voted? Does any senator desire to change their vote? The clerk will close the roll.
Ayes 39, no 0.
Ayes 39, no 0. The bills in the block pass.
Regular calendar, House bills on third reading. House Bill 878, a bill relating to purchase of development rights for affordable housing. The committee amendments have been agreed to by the Senate.
Chair recognizes the senior senator from Prince William, Senator McPike.
Thank you, Madam President. I move that House Bill 878 be re-referred to the Committee on General Laws and Technology.
The question is, shall House Bill 878 be re-referred to the Committee on General Laws and Technology? Those in favor of that motion will record their votes. I'm sorry, it's the voice vote. That's right. Those in favor of that motion will say aye. Those opposed, no. The ayes have it. The bill is re-referred to the Committee on General Laws and Technology.
House Bill 1, a bill relating to minimum wage, reported from the Committee on Finance and Appropriations.
Chair recognizes Senator Deeds, the senator from Charlottesville.
Madam President, I move that the bill pass. This bill is identical to...
The senator may continue.
I'm sorry. This bill is identical to Senator Lucas's Senate Bill 1. It raises the minimum wage to $13.50 effective January 1, 2025, and to $15 an hour effective January 1, 2026. I reiterate my motion that it pass.
The question is, shall the bill pass? Those in favor of that motion will record their votes aye. Those opposed. For what purpose does the senator from Goochland rise?
Speaker to the bill.
The senator has the floor. Your mic, Senator.
Thank you, Madam President. We live in a free market economy, and it's not the job of the government to tell employers what to pay. Someone in Fairfax might have significantly higher cost of living than someone in Dillwyn. And it's up to that employee to talk to their employer and get the wage their labor is worth. Bills like this punish many small businesses, including our farmers. The price of crops fluctuate up and down and often have very small margins. I happen to live in a very rural district, and I hear this from farmers all the time. Most businesses will just raise their prices in order to afford to pay staff, but farmers cannot do that. Their goods have to follow the global market price. Large chain stores can eat the cost of a little more payroll, but this bill and raising the minimum wage is damaging to our farmers as well as many small businesses, and for that reason I ask that everyone vote no.
Chair recognizes Senator Romes, senator from Western Prince William.
Thank you, Madam President. Speaking to the bill.
Senator may continue.
Madam President, as someone who also represents farmers in Western Prince William County, a substantial number of them, everyone who works in Western Prince William, everyone who works anywhere in Virginia should be paid a wage where they can afford the basic necessities of life. And no employer should be paying someone where they can't afford the basic necessities of life. This is where we're at right now. This bill is the most reasonable way to help close that gap. I renew passage for the bill.
The question is, shall the bill pass? Those in favor of that motion will record their votes aye. Those opposed, no. Are the senators ready to vote? Have all the senators voted? Does any senator desire to change their vote? The clerk will close the roll.
Ayes 21, noes 18.
Ayes 21, noes 18. The bill passes.
House Bill 26, a bill relating to voter identification, accepted forms of identification, private entities licensed or certified by certain state agencies, reported from the Committee on Privileges and Elections.
Chair recognizes the junior senator from Virginia Beach, Senator Rouse.
Thank you, Madam President. I move the bill pass. And speaking to that motion.
The senator has the floor.
Thank you. HB 26 basically adds to the list of accepted forms of identification for purposes of voting with a valid identification card that contains a photograph of the voter and is issued by any private entity that is licensed or certified in whole or in part by the Department of Health, Department of Social Services, Department of Medical Assistance Services, or the Department of Behavioral Health and Developmental Services. I renew my motion to bill pass.
The question is, shall the bill pass? Those in favor of that motion will record their votes aye. Those opposed, no. Are the senators ready to vote? Have all the senators voted? Does any senator desire to change their vote? The clerk will close the roll.
Ayes 21, noes 17.
Ayes 21, no 17. The bill passes.
House Bill 55, a bill relating to primary elections, candidates for nomination, withdrawal of candidacy resulting in unopposed primary cancellation, and nomination procedure, reported from the Committee on Privileges and Elections.
Again, Senator Rouse.
Thank you, Madam President. I move the bill pass. And speaking to that motion.
The senator may continue.
All right, HB 55 provides that if a person is a candidate for a nomination by a political party at a primary election or appears on the ballot for such election, withdraws his candidacy on or after the 44th day before but prior to Tuesday immediately preceding the primary election, and a result of such withdrawal is one remaining candidate who is now unopposed, that remaining candidate will be declared the party's nominee for the office sought, and the primary election will be canceled. I renew my motion that the bill pass.
The question is, shall the bill pass? Those in favor?
Madam President.
The Senator McPike, the senior senator from Prince William.
Thank you. Will the senator yield for a question?
Will Senator Rouse yield for a question?
I yield.
Senator Rouse yields. Senator McPike has the floor.
I'm sorry, just for clarity, is this also the cognate of the senator from Roanoke's bill that we just rejected? I just want to make sure I'm clear.
No.
I don't think it is.
Senator-
I just want to make sure.
Senator Rouse has the floor.
No, the distinction in this bill is that registers, if any candidate is still on the ballot up to the date, but they drop out in the primary, that the registrar's office don't have to continue that that election, that they can just, if the only one candidate is left and they're running unopposed, that they can just be the winner. There's no one else in that race.
The question is, shall the bill pass? Senator Mulcahy, the senator from Mecklenburg.
Thank you, Madam President. Speak to the bill.
The senator has the floor.
This is identical to my bill that passed. It's been sent to the House, and it was sent back to committee because they didn't think Senator Ruff worked here anymore. So this is identical to that bill. This is from a situation that happened in my district where a candidate dropped out right before the primary, and it cost my district $50,000 to run the election anyway. So this just would fix this problem when a primary candidate drops out right before an election, and we wouldn't have to have had the primary, and it would have saved the county money. Thank you.
Thank you, Madam President. I renew a motion to the bill pass.
The question is, shall the bill pass? Those in favor of that motion will record their votes aye. Those opposed, no. Are the senators ready to vote? Have all the senators voted? Does any senator desire to change their vote? The clerk will close the roll.
Ayes 35, noes 4.
Ayes 35, noes 4. The bill passes.
House Bill 90, a bill relating to elections, candidates for office, conduct of primaries, declaration of candidacy. Reported from the Committee on Privileges and Elections with a substitute.
Again, Senator Rouse, the junior senator from Virginia Beach.
Thank you, Madam President. Move the bill passes. Speaking to that motion.
The substitute.
Oh, I'd like to move the substitute.
The question is, shall the substitute be agreed to? Those in favor will say aye. Aye. Those opposed, no. The substitute is agreed to. Senator Rouse.
Thank you, Madam President. The substitute basically conforms HB 90 to SB 109. Senator, to SB 109. The substitute changes the time in which a person is prohibited from accessing the ballot if they are unsuccessful in the primary from the time of qualifying as a candidate in the primary, as in the original House version, to the time when their name is printed on the ballot, as in the version of SB 109. So I renew a motion that the bill pass.
The question is, shall the bill pass? Those in favor of that motion will record their votes aye. Those opposed, no. Are the senators ready to vote? Have all the senators voted? Does any senator desire to change their vote? The clerk will close the roll.
Ayes 18, noes 21.
Ayes 18, noes 21. The bill fails.
House Bill 111, a bill relating to electors for President and Vice President of the United States, binding of electors' oaths, vacancies, reported from the Committee on Privileges and Elections.
Chair recognizes Senator Rouse, again, the junior senator from Virginia Beach.
Thank you, Madam President. Speaking to HB 111, I move the bill pass.
The senator has the floor.
HB 111 provides that an elector who is selected by the state convention of any political party and who at the convening of the electors after the election refuses to present a ballot, presents an unmarked ballot, or presents a ballot marked in violation of his oath, saying that he would, if elected, cast his ballot for the candidates for president or vice president nominated by the party that selected the elector, or as the party may direct in the event of death, withdrawal, or disqualification of the party nominee, is deemed to vacate the office of the elector. The bill provides that the other electors present shall immediately fill such vacancy in the same manner as a vacancy due to an elector's death or failure or inability to attend. The bill applies the same provisions to electors who are named in a petition of qualified voters not constituting a political party. And I renew my motion that the bill pass.
The question is, shall the bill pass? Those in favor will record their votes aye. Those opposed, no. Are the senators ready to vote? Have all the senators voted? Does any senator desire to change their vote? The clerk will close the roll.
Ayes 32, noes 6.
Ayes 32, noes 6. The bill passes. For what purpose does the senator from Alexandria rise?
Hold on.
House Bill 126, a bill relating to candidates for office, persons entitled to have name printed on ballot, required campaign finance reports, reported from the Committee on Privileges and Elections.
Again, Senator Rouse.
Madam President, can that bill go by for the day?
Without objection, House Bill 126 goes by for the day.
House Bill 525, a bill relating to casino gaming, limits on required local referendums, reported from the Committee on Finance and Appropriations with amendment.
Senator Eben, the senator from Alexandria.
I would move the substitute from the Committee on Finance and Appropriations.
The question is, shall the committee amendments be agreed to? Those in favor will say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, no. The amendment is agreed to. Senator Eben.
This bill is identical to provisions in the senator from Petersburg bill that just says that when there's a casino referendum that fails, it won't be reheld within 3 years.
The question is, shall the bill pass? Those in favor will record their votes aye. Those opposed, no. Are the senators ready to vote? Have all the senators voted? Does any senator desire to change their vote? The clerk will close the roll.
Ayes 38, noes 1.
Ayes 38, noes 1. The bill passes.
Madam
What
President.
purpose does the senator from Colonial Heights?
Having
Rise.
voted on the prevailing side by which we just passed House Bill 525, move that we reconsider that so that a member may change his vote.
The question is, shall the vote by which House Bill 525 passed be reconsidered? Those in favor of the motion will record their votes aye. Those opposed, no. Are the senators ready to vote? Have all the senators voted? Does any senator desire to change their vote? The clerk will close the roll.
Ayes 39, no 0.
Ayes 39, no 0. The vote is reconsidered. Senator Eben.
Having previously explained the bill, I move the bill pass.
The question is, shall the bill pass? Those in favor of that motion will record their votes aye. Those opposed, no. Are the senators ready to vote? Have all the senators voted? Does any senator desire to change their vote? The clerk will close the roll.
Ayes 38, noes 1.
Ayes 38, noes 1. The bill passes.
House Bill 580, a bill to direct the Department of Agriculture and Consumer Services to convene the Task Force on Transparency in Publicly Funded Animal Testing Facilities report, reported from the Committee on Agriculture, Conservation, and Natural Resources.
Chair recognizes Senator Marsden, the senior senator from Fairfax.
Thank you, Madam President. I would like to yield to the senator from Northern Fairfax, Senator Boysko.
Senator Boysko.
Thank you, Madam President. I move that we pass the bill and speaking to it.
Senator has the floor.
Thank you, Madam President. The bill we have before us today, HB 580, is absolutely identical to the bill that I carried, SB 411, which passed the Senate unanimously. There was not a single vote against it in the committee or on the floor. This is the bill that requires the Department of Agriculture and Consumer Services, along with SHEV, to convene a task force on transparency in publicly funded animal testing facilities for the purpose of identifying potential deficiencies in publicly funded animal testing facilities and recommending methods and context, making certain information publicly available, including information on instances of noncompliance with federal animal welfare regulations, as well as the care, use, and approximate number of animals used, including those not covered by the Federal Animal Welfare Act. Again, it passed unanimously, and I ask that you pass the bill.
The question is, shall the bill pass? Those in favor of that motion will record their votes aye. Those opposed, no. Are the senators ready to vote? Have all the senators voted? Does any senator desire to change their vote? The clerk will close the roll.
Ayes 38, noes 1.
Ayes 38, noes 1. The bill passes.
House Bill 805, a bill relating to additional local sales and use tax to support schools referendum, reported from the Committee on Finance and Appropriations with a substitute, and we have a floor substitute.
Chair recognizes Senator Lucas.
Madam President.
Senator McPike.
Thank you, Madam President. This is the cognate of Senate Bill 14, and we do have a floor substitute that will catch up to it. And so with the recommendation that the substitute from the Committee of Finance and Appropriations be rejected, I move the substitute be adopted. I can speak to that motion if anyone would like. So the principal elements that you're going to get to in the floor substitute, Madam President, are one change was required because there are actually two towns that run their own school boards, their own school system. And so it picks that up for two in the Northern Neck area that wanted to be included. So this provides them a means to do it. It lifts the 20-year cap in terms of length of debt financing. And number three, if the locality chooses, that already has that authority, chooses to extend beyond the existing 20-year authority, they have to go back out to referendum. That way it's very clear to the voters that they're making an option. If they're refinancing or repackaging debt, that it's very clear to those voters. And so those are the three technical changes we'll get to in the floor substitute. And I won't have to explain it again when we get there. And so, again, with the recommendation that we rejected, I move the committee substitute be adopted.
The question is, shall, with the recommendation that the substitute from Committee on Finance and Appropriations be rejected, shall it be agreed to? Those in favor will say aye. No. Those opposed, no. The substitute is rejected. Senator McPike.
Thank you, Madam President. I move to waive the reading of the floor substitute.
The question is, shall the reading of the floor substitute be waived? Those in favor will say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, no. The floor substitute, the reading thereof is waived. Senator McPike.
Thank you, Madam President. I move the adoption of the floor substitute. And just to briefly summarize
The senator may continue.
what I said about 30 seconds ago. No, it is really some technical cleanup to help the two towns that have that technical issue. And again, it sort of has a enactment clause to make sure that anybody who's changing and opting for a longer term of debt financing, that they go back out to the voters for a referendum should they choose that option. And so ask that the floor substitute be adopted, and this now would align up to Senate Bill 14 coming out of House Finance. And so this will help us to avoid another conference report.
The question is, shall the floor substitute be agreed to? Those in favor will say aye. Those opposed, no. The substitute is agreed to. Senator McPike.
Thank you, Madam President. Now move that House Bill 805 pass.
The question is, shall the bill pass? Those in favor of that motion will record their votes aye. Those opposed, no. Are the senators ready to vote? Have all the senators voted? Does any senator desire to change their vote? The clerk will close the roll.
Ayes 27, noes 12.
Ayes 27, noes 12. The bill passes.
House Bill 819, a bill relating to health insurance coverage for prescription contraceptives, reported from the Committee on Commerce and Labor with a substitute and from the Committee on Finance and Appropriations.
Chair recognizes Senator Deeds, the senator from Charlottesville.
Madam President, I move that the committee substitute be agreed to.
The question is, shall the substitute be agreed to? Those in favor will say aye. Those opposed, no. The substitute is agreed to. Senator Deeds.
Madam President, I move the bill pass, and I'd like to speak to that.
The senator has the floor.
This is the bill that requires health insurance carriers to provide coverage for contraceptive drugs and devices. The substitute conformed it to a bill from the senator from Chesterfield that's already passed, and it brings the bill into conformity with federal law. I reiterate my motion that it pass.
The question is, shall the bill pass? Those in favor of that motion will record their votes aye. Those opposed, no. Are the senators ready to vote? Have all the senators voted? Does any senator desire to change their vote? The clerk will close the roll.
Ayes 23, noes 16.
Ayes 23, no 16. The bill passes.
House Bill 940, a bill relating to elections administration, change to the location of polling place, additional notice requirement, reported from the Committee on Privileges and Elections with amendment.
Senator Rouse, the junior senator from Virginia Beach.
Thank you, Madam President. I move the committee amendment be agreed to.
Question is, shall the committee amendment be agreed to? Those in agreement will say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, no. The committee amendments are agreed to. Senator Rouse.
Thank you, Madam President. I move the bill pass, and speaking to that motion.
The senator has the floor.
Thank you. HB 940 just requires notice of a change in the location of a polling place to be posted at the location last used for such polling place on the day of the first primary election and the first general election conducted in the new location. This notice is required to include information on how voters may find their polling place, and the amendment just made sure that the notice can be posted as practicable. And I'm renewing my motion to be that the bill pass.
Question is, shall the bill pass? Those in favor of that motion will record their votes aye. Those opposed, no. Are the senators ready to vote? Have all the senators voted? Does any senator desire to change their vote? The clerk will close the roll.
Ayes 38, no 0.
Ayes 38, no 0. The bill passes.
House Bill 998, a bill relating to conduct of elections, local electoral boards, certification and abstract of results, deadline, reported from the Committee on Privileges and Elections.
Senator Rouse.
Thank you, Madam President. I move the bill pass, and speaking to that motion.
The senator has the floor.
HB 998 just extends the deadline for local electoral boards to meet after an election for the purpose of certifying the election results and submitting their abstract of results to the State Board of Elections from 7 days after the date of the election to 10 days after such date. I move the bill pass.
The question is, shall the bill pass? Those in favor of that motion will record their votes aye. Those opposed, no. Are the senators ready to vote? Have all the senators voted? Does any senator desire to change their vote? The clerk will close the roll.
Ayes 27, noes 12.
Ayes 27, noes 12. The bill passes.
House Bill 1130, a bill to direct the Board of Medicine to require certain licensees to complete training on unconscious bias and cultural competency as part of their continuing education and continuing competency requirements for licensure. Reported from the Committee on Finance and Appropriations.
Senator Hashmi, the senator from Chesterfield.
Thank you, Madam President. I move that HB 1130 pass, and speaking briefly to that motion.
Senator Macy on.
Thank you, Madam President. HB 1130 is identical to SB 35, carried by Senator Locke, and that we have passed out of the Senate. And this is, as was stated previously, directing our Board of Medicine to include training on unconscious bias and cultural competency as part of our CME program. And that is the nature of the bill. And I renew my motion that we pass.
The question is, shall the bill pass? Those in favor will record their votes aye. Those opposed, no. Are the senators ready to vote? Have all the senators voted? Does any senator desire to change their vote? The clerk will close the roll.
Ayes 30, noes 9.
Ayes 30, noes 9. The bill passes.
House Bill 1167, a bill relating to local prohibition on the sale of English ivy, civil penalty. Reported from the Committee on Agriculture, Conservation, and Natural Resources.
Senator Marsden, the senior senator from Fairfax.
Thank you, Madam President. I move that the bill pass, and speaking to that.
The senator has the floor.
Thank you, Madam President. This authorizes any locality to adopt an ordinance prohibiting the sale of English ivy with violations punishable by a civil penalty not to exceed $50 for a first violation and not to exceed $200 for a subsequent violation within 12 months. And I reiterate my motion that the bill pass.
The question is, shall the bill pass? Those in favor of that motion will record their votes aye. Those opposed, no. Are the senators ready to vote? Have all the senators voted? Does any senator desire to change their vote? The clerk will close the roll.
Ayes 21, noes 18.
Ayes 21, noes 18. The bill passes.
House Bill 1330, a bill relating to absentee voting, persons confined awaiting trial or for conviction of a misdemeanor. Reported from the Committee on Privileges and Elections.
Senator Rouse, the junior senator from Virginia Beach.
Thank you, Madam President. I move the bill pass, and speaking to that motion.
The senator may say on.
Thank you, Madam President. This bill just helps clear up the code. Really, a lot of jails are already doing this, and I want to thank the senator from York County for helping the committee understand that a lot of the jails are already doing this, and this just helps clear up the code. And so I move the bill pass.
The question is, shall the bill pass? Those in favor of that motion will record their votes aye. Those opposed, no. Are the senators ready to vote? Have all the senators voted? Does any senator desire to change their vote? The clerk will close the roll.
Ayes 29, noes 9.
Ayes 29, noes 9. The bill passes.
House Bill 1408, a bill to direct the Department of Elections to develop standards and guidelines for determining the number and location of voter satellite offices. Reported from the Committee on Privileges and Elections.
Chair recognizes the senior senator, the junior senator from Virginia Beach, Senator Rouse.
Thank you, Madam President. I move the bill pass, and speaking to that motion.
The senator has the floor.
HB 1408 just directs the Department of Elections to develop standards and guidelines for local governing bodies to utilize when determining the number of voting satellites offices to be established. And again, it's just directs them. It doesn't mandate them to use these guidelines. It just kind of helps set standards for local governing bodies to establish relative locations such as satellite locations. And so I move the bill pass.
Chair recognizes the senior senator from Loudoun, Senator Subramanian.
Thank you, Madam President. Speaking to the bill.
The senator may continue.
Thank you, Madam President. I like the bill, and I think it's an important one because this happened in my locality, and it's starting to happen in other localities where we're taking basically what these satellite locations are. They're now that we have early voting and in-person early voting, they're an opportunity for people to vote early in person. And what happened is our local Board of Elections basically took away 2 voting locations from the most dense parts of our county. And I don't like that precedent being set, where we're taking away early voting locations where the votes are, where the most number of people are, and we're putting it in areas that don't have as many people. And honestly, it comes off as very political and comes off as voter suppression. And so I hope that we can pass a bill like this and really try to make sure that we're doing what's best for the people, regardless of party, regardless of whatever, just doing the most logical thing, which is to have these locations in dense areas, and that we don't let this precedent move forward. Thank you, Madam President. I hope we move passage of the bill.
The question is, shall the bill pass? Those in favor of that motion will record their votes aye. Those opposed, no. Are the senators ready to vote? Have all the senators voted? Does any senator desire to change their vote? The clerk will close the roll.
Ayes 21, noes 18.
Ayes 21, noes 18. The bill passes.
House Bill 1531, a bill relating to elephants, pain-inflicting training tools prohibited, actions for attachment, civil penalty. Reported from the Committee on Agriculture, Conservation, and Natural Resources, and we have a floor amendment.
Chair recognizes Senator Stanley, the senator from Franklin County.
Thank you, Madam President. I now move that we waive the reading of the floor amendment.
The question is, shall the reading of the floor amendment be waived? Those in favor will say aye. Those opposed, no. The reading of the floor amendment is waived. Senator Stanley.
Thank you, Madam President. I now move the floor amendment that it be adopted to House Bill 1531. And speaking to that motion.
The senator has the floor.
Thank you, Madam President. Members of the Senate, this is the bullhook bill, which of course I support. I don't think we should use such instruments when it comes to, they call it training animals or elephants. I call it more of abuse of elephants. But when reading through this, it wasn't just a bullhook bill. There's also other instruments. I looked up Ancus. That's a kind of a bullhook. Baseball bat you shouldn't use. Axe handle you shouldn't use on an animal. But then you get to pitchfork. And a pitchfork is used, in farming as we understand it, but also in the care of elephants in order to bring in the grass and the hay using the pitchfork. And also pitchforks are used to remove after they've eaten the hay when they do their business. So I just don't know how to say poop on the Senate floor right, so I'm just going to do it that way. Oh, I did. Well, there you go. So when you look at the bill, it's not only just, to use it against the animal, which is cruel and unusual and should not happen, but it says in this that you can't even have it in the presence. Under Romanet 3, it says you can't brandish, exhibit, or display any of those devices described in Romanet 2 in the presence of an elephant. And I just think, number one, I think a pitchfork has a use to it which is not cruel. And I would think that adopting this just clarifies the use of a pitchfork and will probably get a lot more friendly votes over here than you would get otherwise. So based on that, Madam President, I move that the floor amendment be agreed to.
Madam Chair.
Chair recognizes the senator is before you, Madam.
Would the senator from Franklin County yield for a question?
Senator Stanley yield for a question. Senator Stanley yields. Senator Eben has the floor.
I would ask the senator from Franklin County if he's spoken to the sponsor about the amendment.
Senator Franklin. Senator Stanley has the floor.
Madam President, I would answer the gentleman by saying, no, I have not. But quite frankly, I would tell Madam President that this was not explained in the committee that we are there. And I don't think, Madam President, that anyone would sit here on this floor and not think that I don't care about animals, especially when it comes to dogs, cats, companion animals. But when we're talking about an item, there is no useful item for there's no use, a good use for a bullhook or an Ancus or a baseball bat or an axe handle when it comes to an animal such as this. But a pitchfork in and of itself has a usefulness in terms of grass, delivering hay, and cleaning up their excrement. And the mere presence of this of a pitchfork in them is in front of the elephant is a violation, and I don't think that's what they intended here. But that was not explained by the patron at the time. But I'm just cleaning this up a little bit because I think it's the right thing to do.
Madam President, could that bill go by for the day?
Without objection, House Bill 1531 goes by for the day.
House Bill 1534, a bill relating to elections, challenges to voter or voters registration, challenges to candidate qualifications or eligibility, reported from the Committee on Privileges and Elections.
Senator Rouse, the junior senator from Virginia Beach.
Thank you, Madam President. I move the bill pass and speaking to that motion.
The senator may say on.
This bill just eliminates the process by which any voter could challenge in a polling place on the day of an election the right of any voter to cast a ballot. The bill also eliminates the process by which any 3 voters could challenge a voter's registration before the general registrar, but such challenges may still be made by filing a petition with the circuit court of the county or city where the voter is registered. The bill also requires challenges to a person's eligibility to appear on the ballot on the basis that such person did not meet all qualifications or fulfill all requirements for candidacy to be made at least 60 days before the date of the election. And the candidates who are nominated at a primary election cannot be later challenged on the basis of the facts that were present prior to the primary election and could have been raised in a challenge to such candidates' eligibility for the primary ballot. And any challenge to a candidate's qualification or eligibility shall be made by filing a petition with the circuit court of the city of Richmond, which shall have jurisdiction over such proceedings. I move the bill pass.
Question is, shall the bill pass? Those in favor will record their votes aye. Those opposed, no. Are the senators ready to vote? Have all the senators voted? Does any senator desire to change their vote? The clerk will close the roll.
Ayes 20, no 17.
Ayes 20, no 17. The bill passes.
Madam President.
Chair recognizes Senator Surville.
Madam President, having voted on the prevailing side by which we rejected or shot down House Bill 90 on page 24 of the calendar, I would ask that we reconsider that vote.
The question is, shall the vote by which House Bill 90 was rejected be reconsidered? Those in favor of that motion will record their votes aye. Those opposed, no. Are the senators ready to vote? Have all the senators voted? Does any senator desire to change their vote? The clerk will close the roll.
Ayes 38, no 0.
Ayes 38, no 0. The bill is reconsidered. Senator Rouse?
Madam President.
Senator Surville?
I would ask that bill go by for the day.
Without objection, House Bill 90 goes by for the day.
Madam President.
For what purpose does the senator from Arlington rise?
Having voted on the prevailing side by which we passed HB 1534, I ask that we reconsider that vote so all members will be able to cast their ballot.
The question is, shall the vote by which House Bill 1534 was passed be reconsidered? Those in favor will record their votes aye. Those opposed, no. Are the senators ready to vote? Have all the senators voted? Does any senator desire to change their vote? The clerk will close the roll.
Ayes 39, no 0.
Ayes 39, no 0. The vote is reconsidered. Senator Rouse.
Thank you, Madam President. Having previously explained HB 1534, I renew my motion that the bill pass.
The question is, shall the bill pass? Those in favor of that motion, again, will record their votes aye. Those opposed, no. Are the senators ready to vote? Have all the senators voted? Does any senator desire to change their vote? The clerk will close the roll.
Ayes 22, no 17.
Ayes 22, no 17. The bill passes.
Uncontested calendar, House bills on second reading.
Chair recognizes Senator Surville, the senator from Eastern Fairfax County.
Madam President, I move that all the House bills on second reading on the uncontested and regular calendars, pages 30 through 58, House Bills 105 through 1396, that the rules be suspended, the second constitutional reading, the titles be dispensed with.
The question is, shall the rules be suspended and the second reading of the titles of House bills on the uncontested and regular calendars, pages 30 through 58, House Bills 105 through House Bills 1396, be dispensed with? Those in favor of that motion will record their votes aye. Those opposed, no. Are the senators ready to vote? Have all the senators voted? Does any senator desire to change their vote? The clerk will close the roll.
Ayes 38, no 0.
Ayes 38, no 0. The reading of the titles is dispensed with. Senator Surville.
Thank you, Madam President. I would now move that all the bills now on third reading go by for the day.
Question is, shall the House bills on the uncontested and regular calendars now on their third reading go by for the day? Those in favor of that motion will say aye. Aye. Those opposed, no. The ayes weakly have it. The bills will go by for the day.
Madam President,
For what purpose does the senator from Botetourt rise?
having voted on the prevailing side by which we passed House Bill 1130, I move that we reconsider that vote.
I'm sorry, Senator, what bill was that?
House Bill 1130 on page 28.
The question is, shall the vote by which House Bill 1130 on page 28 was passed be reconsidered? Those in favor of that motion will record their votes aye. Those opposed, no. Are the senators ready to vote? Have all the senators voted? Does any senator desire to change their vote? The clerk will close the roll.
Ayes 39, no 0.
Ayes 39, no 0. The vote is reconsidered. Senator Hashmi, the senior senator from Chesterfield.
Thank you, Madam President. Having previously explained HB 1130, I move that the bill pass.
And Madam
The
President,
senator from Botetourt, Senator Head.
I was going to speak to the bill because I'm very much in support of this bill, as we talked about with the Senate cognate on this, but there's some consternation, I think, on our side, and so I would ask that this bill go by for the day if we could, please.
Without objection, House Bill 1130 goes by for the day. Senator Somerville, the senator from Eastern Fairfax County.
Inquiry of the clerk. Is it time for the weekend?
Yes, sir.
Great. Thank you.
Is there any other business to come before the Senate?
Madam President.
Senator Pillion, the senator from Washington.
I rise for announcement.
The senator may state it.
Madam President, on Monday, DBHDS will facilitate a rapid revive training session between 10:30 and, oh my gosh, and noon in House Room B. Revive training, for those of you who don't know, is naloxone administration. This is going to be open to the public, but I would really like to see every member of the Senate know how to use naloxone. So in House Room B, between 10:30 and noon, DBHDS will be there facilitating this training. Please take advantage of it.
Would
Thank
the senator like to tell us what naloxone does? No?
It's an opioid reversal agent.
Thank you, Senator. Saves lives. Chair recognizes Senator Marsden, the senior senator from Fairfax.
Thank you, Madam President. Rise for an announcement.
The senator may continue.
Thank you, Madam President. We're granting an extension on our contributions to the Massey Cancer Center because this week we had 3 massive solar flares. It interfered with AT&T internet reception, and it was also known to create neurological impacts on people. So we are going to extend it until next Tuesday. We only have 4 to go, so let's get them in, and we're doing great and very proud of everybody. Thank you.
The clerk will report any announcements on the desk.
For Monday, February 26, 2024, the Committee for Courts of Justice will meet at 8 o'clock a.m. in Senate Room A. The Education and Health Subcommittee on Higher Education will meet at 8:30 a.m. in Senate Room C. Senators Locke, Pillion, Head, Aird, and Van Valkenburg. The Committee on Local Government will meet at 9:30 in Senate Room B. This is a time change. Committee on Local Government will meet at 9:30 in Senate Room B. The Republican Caucus will meet at 11:15 a.m. in Senate Room 2 of the Capitol. The Democratic Caucus will meet at 11:30 a.m. in Senate Room 1 in the Capitol. Weekend weather report, clouds and rain throughout today, mostly cloudy and colder tomorrow, and mostly sunny on Sunday. Drive carefully.
Chair calls on the senator from Portsmouth, Senator Lucas.
Thank you, Madam President.
The senator is cold.
Madam President, I move that the Senate do now adjourn until 12 noon on Monday.
Or the
From the
Senate.
North Pole.
The question is, shall the Senate stand adjourned until noon on Monday? Those in favor of that motion will record their votes aye. Will say aye. Those opposed, no. The ayes have it heartily. The Senate stands adjourned until 12 noon Monday.